So what I wrote is actually a completed Gospel of Mary Magdalene. So it has in it the current translations that we have of the fragments that have been found, and then the missing pages have been written by me. So in the Coptic version, which is the most complete version we have, it's missing pages 1 through 6 and 11 through 14. So through my gnosis, through my revelation, through my channeling of the Holy Spirit, through my initiation with the Holy Spirit, I wrote the missing pages. So these are my inspired words to finish the gospel. I'm not saying that these are the exact words that are missing. I'm not saying to take these as dogma. This is my inspired interpretation and addition to the gospel. And I do want to note that when I was going through this process, it seemed to me like, I don't know what could have happened, in 1st, 2nd, 3rd century AD, but it seems that the Coptic version that we have isn't in the right order. Let me explain. So while it has page numbers, it has this incongruency. Let me show you. So on page 15 it starts with "and craving said," and then it goes into the third climate, ignorance, and then on page 16 it says the soul is freed from the third climate, continues its ascent, and then it finds itself in the fourth climate. And then it says the fourth climate has 7 manifestations. And then it goes through what they are. The first manifestation is darkness, the second is craving, and the third is ignorance. And on page 15, we have it saying the second climate is craving, the third climate is ignorance, and then it enters the fourth. So I added the first 2 climates. I added darkness and then started craving. And then I went through the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th as the climates, okay? And then I start again with the translation we have on page 16. So what I've done is explained what the 7 climates are that the soul must ascend through to reach the theoanthropos, to reach what some call Christ consciousness, to reach our full divine selves that Christ was teaching us of. So that's just a little note on why it reads like that. So I have in my completed gospel, I have on the bottom it says adapted or reconstructed, so you can know what pages are original translations added with reconstructions or are just reconstructions. And then I would recommend getting a copy of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the incomplete one. I like this one. This is Le Loup, and I believe that this is the best translation we have, but you can find it online. So you can read that after or before, and you can kind of see what I added in and the things that I changed for congruency and for clarity, and to make it something modern that can actually help our souls ascend, help us remember what the true message of Christ is. And one of the most important things this gospel says, and this is in the original, is that there's no such thing as sin. The only sin is when we act out of our divine nature. So all sin leads from us being out of balance, not in harmony with our divine nature. Because if we were all acting as our Christ divine selves, our baseline would not be to sin. It would be love and mercy and forgiveness, right? This would be heaven on earth. So that's one of my favorite takeaways from the gospel. It's quite beautiful, it's very empowering, and it's quite clear why it was rejected when the church was building its canonical Bible. And anyone who says it's heretical, it's serving Satan, they don't understand the true message of Christ. And that's becoming more and more clear to me, that so many are serving the false god, and they are serving the institution that adulterated the message of Christ, that stole his image and used him as a mascot for control and fear. More and more people are waking up to this, and this is the start of the second coming of Christ.